This is That Video Game Podcast, episode 627 for October 28th, 2019. Interstellar Drift.
A86 in space!
It's like Tokyo Drift, but in space.
Welcome back to another episode of That Video Game Podcast. I'm your host, Boston Dream. As always, is Moonpeer and the Nymph.
Hello! Oh. Hey, might as well start.
Thank you, Mrs. Doubtfire.
Yeah, that's what I was going for. Yes.
Yeah, I picked it up.
Moon, have you seen Mrs. Doubtfire?
Yes.
Add it to the list.
Either way, add it to the list. Don't forget, if you're a patron, patreon.com/E1M1, the ones are numbers, you get the brand new episode of Old Dog New Flicks. If you've never listened, Moon and his wife Jess go through the backlog of movies they've never seen.
That we, quote-unquote, should have seen. Yeah,
you should have seen. It's always the big ones that we were talking here in pre-show. Moon hasn't seen any of the Indiana Jones movies.
Mm-hmm.
That's on the list. Some of the required reading movies.
Yep, we are going to do our first Indiana Jones movie as soon as I can get around to it, and it's going to be Indiana Jones and the Crystal Skull.
Seriously?
Okay, starting with the bad one.
Just throw my headphones down right now.
Yeah, how dare you? Patreon.com/E1M1, get all the behind-the-scenes early access stuff, $5 a month. Super cheap, super great. Moon, what have you been playing this past week?
Okay. Let's continue where we left off with Anthem. Because why not?
Yeah.
I'm up to the last mission. I believe it's the last mission. It's the Enter the Heart of Rage again.
I believe that's the last mission, or it's like a last two. Mm-hmm. There's not a lot.
Yeah. Okay, so I'm up to that again. Then I stopped playing it because Grip was leaving Game Pass, and I realized I need to give my Game Pass or fail stamp to Grip. So if you'll listen to this when it comes out, you have probably a day to get your download and play on of Grip. Which, for those of you who don't remember, Grip is the kind of spiritual successor to like Extreme G and
Roll Cage,
that kind of thing. I thought the game was okay when I first originally played it. And then I sunk some real hours into it this week.
Okay.
The game's actually really, really good.
Yeah. Have they added a lot more content? Because I feel like that was the big criticism early on, was like, it's a little thin.
It was, until I realized that I hadn't progressed at all through the campaign. And progressing through the campaign unlocks a whole bunch more levels and stuff like that.
Aha.
So things I didn't know existed in the game is parkour tracks.
I'm leaving. The show's over.
Which, the first time you complete a parkour map, you get an achievement called, do you get it? It's a joke.
It's really good.
Mm-hmm. So they're really fun and dumb and really difficult because it's like fine motor control on this ridiculously spinny track. It's like puzzle levels for cars. It's kind of insane. It's really, really fun. And then I continue going through the campaign. I got a whole bunch of achievements in it because that was my main priority, was let's just blast through a bunch of achievements, including the go Mach 1 in a race.
Okay.
Which is 1,207 kilometers an hour, by the way.
Wow.
To go Mach 1. And when you go Mach 1, it does a little sonic boom.
Sweet.
It's
nice.
Really, really cool. But yeah, I was just playing through the campaign. I was like, it's got the course variety is getting better. Like, it's got really good technical courses where it's like you go straight up this side of this mountain, and then you've got a sharp left-hand turn where you've got to slow down enough to make the turn, but not go so slow as to fall off the wall and then end up having to get reset. And then it has the face-meltingly fast levels where it's literally just a series of speed boosts, and you are driving on the floor, then the ceiling, then the wall, then this wall, then that wall, and corners, and flip, and flip, and flip, and flip, and flip, and you just... It's literally hold the right trigger and hope that you don't fall off.
So is it one of those where you just have to make sure the front of your car is still facing forward and that's it?
Pretty much, yes.
That sounds great.
I also unlocked the ability to charge my weapons. So now when I pick up two you get two weapons. You hold the bumper and it disposes of one and charges up the second one to do even more damage to people.
Nice.
And then the levels got really insane because it put me on a satellite in space.
The natural next course.
It's insane. Like, you know those like solar dishes you see on satellites, and it's like, oh, that's like a nice curve to catch the sun.
Yeah.
And it's like, oh, by the way, now you're driving down the body of the satellite, then down the arms, and then there's a huge corner at the bottom, which is just that blue solar panel that you're driving sideways on, while the planet is below you. And
that's great.
All of this from an illegal street racing scene, apparently.
Interstellar drift.
Yes.
Yeah.
This is like...
I need to play this game.
It's like Fast and the Furious. Like, the next movie, you know it's got to go here.
Right.
It's so ridiculously cool. I mean, the music is whatever. It's very repeaty kind of music.
Sure.
It handles okay, but the variety is getting to the point now where it's like, you know what? It's actually not bad. Like, I'm genuinely enjoying my time with it, and I will be sad to see it leave Game Pass really soon. Like,
for the next couple of days, it's $20 on Xbox One.
Mm-hmm. It might be worth picking up if you're interested in that old school racing game. I did myself a disservice by not playing this enough when I first loaded it up. Probably because I got distracted by something else, Snake Pass. But it's a fun game. Like, it's generally a fun, stupid, switch your brain off, hold the accelerator, and hope you don't crash that much.
Right.
And I'm fine with that. It's worth that $20, I would say, for that alone. Mm-hmm. Especially if you're just interested in literally holding the right trigger and hoping your eyeballs don't fall out.
Right.
Does it feel like Wipeout fast?
It doesn't feel that fast yet. Okay. There are some levels where it does start to feel that quick, like the one I was talking about where it's like literally you're just bouncing from wall to wall, ceiling, and a big curve. When it's the big, long, curvy tracks where you can just keep your foot to the floor and hit all of the speed boosts, those maps, it feels Wipeout fast. But it doesn't have the Wipeout thing where the Wipeout has those technical courses where you're going that fast and then all of a sudden you have to bring it all the way back to like super slow to make these corners, and then you're going that fast again. This feels like it has either or. Like, it doesn't have the speed then the technical. It's like, this is a speed course, this is a technical course. Figure out which you're going to do. And like, there's some really genuinely interesting levels in there. There's nothing like driving upside down on the roof of a dam, trying to like, the sentences you could say are just like that. That's crazy.
Yeah, it's so good.
I've enjoyed my time with it, and even if like a couple of people like pick it up, like, it's going to be worth it. Like, I think this is a good addition to Game Pass. This gets my Game Pass pass. It does not get a Game Pass fail. It gets a Game Pass pass. Right. I am sad that it's taken me this long to make the decision on it, but yes.
Yeah. You got there eventually.
Yes. Just like Grip did, apparently.
Right.
My next game, Apex.
Yes.
So I played some Apex this week.
Okay.
And I don't really know what else to say other than I like the game. The Halloween event is fun. Costumes are good. It's got to get my dailies done today because the week is going to reset on Tuesday. Why is the Tuesday the reset day for everything?
Because Monday really sucks in tech because you have to fix everything broken from the weekend, and Tuesday is like the day you really start. And Friday you don't push to prod on Friday, so like Tuesday is the start of the week.
Okay.
Unless you work third shift, then Sundays are your crappy Mondays. Like I get to walk into tonight.
Yep.
There you go. I feel like you're at the same point with like Dead by Daylight and Apex where I am with Destiny, where it's like, this is my daily game. I get in, I play for like 30 minutes to an hour, and I get out and I play my other stuff.
Pretty much.
Clocking in, clocking out.
Yes, depending on the day and whatever I'm feeling. Like, depending on like if certain people are not tied up in conferences all day. I'm looking at you.
Right. How dare you work?
It can end up being, a full-on like 5-hour let's just play Apex tonight kind of game.
Sure.
But if it's not, and it's a case of, my wife is busy or in bed, and it's just me, then it's like, yeah, I'll do a couple of rounds. Just to see what of these dailies I can do. Next game. Nice and quick this week, folks. Dead by Daylight. Or I should say Dead by Friday. Again, thank you, community members, for showing up. Hi, Rob. Thank you, T-Bomb, for sleeping through the whole thing and then sending me a message at midnight asking me if I was still online.
What did I miss, guys?
Yeah. Are you guys still playing?
That's pretty much exactly what it was. It was like, you shoot me an invite if you're still playing.
Hey, man, sometimes you get tired. I feel you.
Yeah. I also totally forgot I was appearing offline most of this week because of my issues with tech, which I'm not going to go on because I don't want this podcast to last 2 hours.
Yeah.
But I'm very frustrated with technology
right now.
Some
weeks, every piece of your technology dies.
Mm-hmm. And in my wife's case, every week, one piece of your technology dies.
That's right.
It's been so long since this has happened to me. It just so happens that I cannot get a headset to work with chat functionality right now, and I have like 5 headsets.
Right.
Come on.
The rage.
Like, really? I don't know. The worst thing is I don't know what the problem is. Is it my headsets or is it my Xbox? Because either way, it's an expensive fix.
That's right. Either way, you're in for a couple hundo.
Yes.
I hear both of you guys come up with issues with consoles every once in a while, and I just look at mine and be like, I don't know what you guys are doing, because I haven't had... Granted, I'm wired, and I know a lot of your stuff is wireless.
Mm-hmm.
So...
I'm all wired on mine now, but hey, my only problem with my PS4 is it won't read discs until I tap the top of it. I don't think that's a problem.
Exactly. I mean, I've got my old PS4 that's almost a launch one, and no problems with that. The fan's not loud or anything. But I mean, I have the wireless gold headset for my PS4. Never had an issue, but I'll look online and see people having nothing but issues with that one.
Yeah, people will be like, I put the gold headset on and it snapped in half.
Mm-hmm.
And Sony says, yeah, they do that. And it's like, what?
Mine doesn't. I mean, freaking look at this thing. I mean...
I hope it snaps on camera.
No, how do you snap that in half? That's just holding it wide enough to put your head through.
I don't know.
The only way that's going to snap in half is if you're sitting there twerking on it. Like, probably some idiot does. But, I mean, you can see the scrapes on top of the band. I've dropped this thing, and it's hit
You're
the wall.
playing Call of Duty, and someone dropped a nuke, and the salt starts flowing, and you start snapping headsets.
Mm-hmm.
I guess.
I don't know.
Honestly, in my case, I think it's the headset. And I think that's just an age thing, because literally these things are 3.5 years old at this point.
They're just going to get wear and tear.
Yeah, but I don't know if it's a firmware update, because the headsets might no longer be supported for the firmware, and if the Xbox has just had an update, I don't know if there's going to be a firmware clash there.
That's insane.
Literally, I don't know what the issue is.
That's always been my fear with getting those Astros, though.
Mm-hmm. Honestly,
firmware.
The support life for it.
Yeah, I mean, that's the thing is, like, honestly, even if these end up not working, I wouldn't take it back. I wouldn't sit there and say, don't buy them because they're not worth it. Because honestly, these things have improved my game ridiculously.
And you got like 3 years of daily use out of them.
3 years of literally, I killed the battery every single day and had to put it on charge every single night. Like, that's
you definitely got your money's worth.
The big thing for me is just I want to see what the issue is, because the Astros are not hearing anything from the Xbox or my television or my PC. So something tells me it's not the Xbox that's got the issue. Something tells me it's something to do with either the base station or the headphones. But it doesn't work with my wife's base station or my wife's Astros on my base station. More than likely the headphones. I just don't know what this specific issue with, because literally it just suddenly stopped working. Out of the blue, my headsets were just like, my Astros were just like, no, we're not going to work. So I took these ones, which are the A40s, and I've got the plug-in adapter for them for the controller too. It's like, that's cool, I can plug them in. And while I'm playing Apex with my wife and M hears nothing but static when I'm unmuted.
All right. Okay.
Now,
I give up.
The question there is that something to do with the Xbox, or is that something to do with the fact that I'm using an Elite controller which is falling apart in my hands?
Right.
So there's
is it the adapter?
Yeah, so there's another problem.
Right.
And these ones are wired as well, so
right.
It's just like, okay, everything's just going to go wrong, that's fine, we'll figure out over the next 2 months or so.
Yeah.
So whatever. But yes, Dead by Friday, played it, had fun, escaped a couple of times, did a couple of killer matches, it was fun. My final game this week, and it's the game which we will all talk about. Boston's already writing it down. See, that's how I already know.
Outer Worlds.
There we go.
Oh wait, we're not talking about Bloodborne?
No. I have it. I still haven't played it.
Yeah.
So, quick earmarks on positions. I have made my first decision literally before we came up to start recording.
I am about to make that decision. I started this on PC because I thought, well, I have a launch Xbox One. It is aged. I cannot get comfortable in my office playing something on my PC, and the text is so small. So I restarted, and it doesn't have Play Anywhere or whatever the cross-save thing is called. So I restarted on my Xbox One. I only played about an hour, and I'm up to the point where I'm going to go make the choice, and I have stopped to do that because I have other side quests to do.
Okay. Nem?
I am on Monarch.
Okay, so I know. So you are a decision, a location, and then another location, I believe.
Correct.
Yes.
Wow. Okay.
After doing a ton of side quests.
Yes.
Yeah.
So,
but hang on, too. Before we get any further, what are you? You said you're playing on your old Xbox or Boston?
Yeah, just on my Xbox One.
Moon, are you on Xbox?
I'm on
X?
the X. Yes.
All right.
Yeah.
I'm on the S. So.
We got all of them.
Yeah. So I just wanted to. Throw that
I
out
am.
there.
I am impressed at how well it runs on the vanilla launch Xbox One. There are some hitches every once in a while, like you turn a corner and there's just a bunch of buildings. It'll hitch for a couple of seconds. It's pretty solid 30. It looks fine, and it runs pretty well. The only thing, every once in a blue moon, I'll open up the map and it doesn't show anything for 5 seconds or so.
That's not you. That's not your Xbox.
Okay.
That's the game.
So another control.
Yeah.
Yes.
No, because I'm having the opposite issue of like frame rate just drops. Oof. It's skipping frames.
Wow, really?
Yeah, like it's performing like a hot garbage on my S, and it does not look good at all.
Do you have correct me if I'm wrong, does the S do S doesn't do 4K, or does it do upscale 4K and HDR?
It just does HDR.
I think it just does HDR.
Yeah.
I wonder if that might be the issue, because I'm running on my X, it runs smooth as silk.
The only texture issues I have are posters and stuff. Sometimes I will turn a corner and posters just look like make it out of like 4 pixels, and there's some pop in.
I'd say just going into my character's menu, and you've got like, your character standing there, that stays pixelated for about a good minute or two before it finally reses up. Yeah, I mean,
that's weird. I'm not running into any of that.
Game runs like hot garbage for me.
That's really weird. That's the performance I would expect out of my console.
I would expect
not
to be
either one of you.
Well, and that's the whole reason I bought this game on Xbox is because I was reading everything online. It looked like PS4, no matter if you had a Pro or a regular, was just going to run like hot garbage.
So they took that back later, and they do have Pro improvements. There was some PR confusion.
Yeah, I would have liked to have known that because I would have bought it for my Pro.
Yeah.
So instead, I bought it for my S because everyone's like, "Oh, if you're not buying PC, Xbox is the way to go." And
I have to say,
it is not for me.
I have a GTX 1060 6 gig as my video card in my PC, and I can run it on very high 60 frames with VSync, and it's locked at 60. Like it's fairly well optimized on PC.
Interesting.
So, performance aside,
yes,
Outer Worlds is stupid good.
Yeah.
So, Can we talk about the Firefly vibes? Let's just get that out the way straight away.
Sure. Yeah.
Vibes.
I'm pretty sure, Boston, you're not a fan or not seen Firefly.
I have seen Firefly. Firefly to me is like Dave Matthews Band. I don't mind the thing. I mind the fans.
I don't mind that it exists. I just don't want to be a part of it.
Firefly, I like Firefly. I like the movie. I think it's all really good. I don't like rewatch it every month. Some people are still deep into it.
It's the Office people.
Yeah, it's the Office on Netflix people where it's like, it's finished up, start it back over again.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah. So
it very much has that like ramshackle future Cowboy Bebop, Firefly. Like it's the future, but we're still barely holding stuff together.
Yeah. It also doesn't help that you literally meet Kaylee in the first 3 minutes of the game.
What's her name?
Parvati, I believe it is.
Yeah, she's great.
Yeah, she's Kaylee.
Ashley Birch?
Yes, Ashley Birch. And she is literally Kaylee from Firefly.
Yeah.
She sees my ship and talks really about how great it is and how she's never been off planet. It's like, really?
Yeah.
You're literally Kaylee.
She's really great.
Oh, and by the way, he is a white version of Shepherd Buck who's maybe slightly evil, but there you go. You've got him too now.
Yeah. What let's go around the table and talk about what sort of character setup we started with.
Shooty McTechie face.
Okay.
I went pure stealth engineer or technology and what do they call it? Discussion or whatever.
Yeah.
Dialogue, whatever it was.
I went almost purely dialogue with a little bit of tech and medicine. But I want to talk my way out of stuff, and so far
you can do that
working very well. Yeah, especially I think it helps a lot that the game, your companion's stats boost yours, which I think is a really smart choice.
Yeah. Also, they add to your carrying capacity too. Like it just gives you
I didn't know that.
Increase on your carrying capacity when you have a companion with you.
Smart.
Thank you, so you don't have to manage 2 inventories.
Yeah, thankfully.
Quick question, because I know... Go ahead.
And they also have infinite ammo, so you don't have to do ammo back and forth.
Thankfully.
I think, was it New Vegas where you literally give them 1 bullet and then they made that 1 bullet last forever and ever and ever?
Oh, really?
They patched that out, but I know in Fallout 4, I think it was, they finally made it where whatever weapon your companion started with, that one had infinite ammo.
Oh, okay.
So you didn't have to worry about it.
That makes sense, yeah.
So, yes, let's talk about the insanity first and foremost. Because it's me, and you know it's me, and you know I'm insane.
Are you playing on Supernova?
There we go. There's the insanity.
Oh my god. To be fair, the one thing I heard going into this game is that normal is probably too easy, and hard was a little bit too hard, and people were wishing that hard was toned down a little bit, and then Supernova would be like you're genuinely the hardest difficulty.
Okay, so let's talk about Supernova, shall we?
Okay.
It's not that hard.
Okay. Do you just have to manage more stuff?
Yeah. It's literally you have to manage a bit more. The biggest things that it adds to the game is a hunger, sleep, and thirst mechanic.
Oh my god.
Okay. Thankfully, that's not on normal. I don't think I would have picked this game up.
No, I hate that mechanic.
This is the stuff that gets really irritating.
Okay.
You can only fast travel to your ship.
Okay, that's... On the first world, that doesn't seem terrible.
It's not.
It gets worse.
It's only about a 3-minute run from the ship to the geothermal plant, so it's no huge deal. When that map gets bigger, I'm expecting to get a lot more frustrated.
Yeah.
You can only sleep on your bed in the ship. You cannot sleep anywhere else.
Oh, okay.
If you get concussed, broken bones, anything like that, you can only heal them by sleeping.
Aha, okay.
And you can only save at your ship.
Interesting.
Other than that, you know what? The enemies are fine. Like, some of them, don't get me wrong, I've been killed twice so far in 6 hours or something like that.
Sure. I was killed once by a dude with just a giant minigun.
My guy had a giant minigun that was firing the plasma rifle rounds at me and completely wiped me out. Oh, by the way, companions can die.
Permanently?
Permanently on Supernova.
That was the other reason I didn't pick up.
Mm-hmm.
No thanks.
So I am playing super carefully.
Yeah.
I'm guessing medium and medium for both of you guys.
I'm normal.
Yeah, I'm on normal, and it's easy. Which is great, because I would rather play a game like this with it being much easier than normal and play a couple of playthroughs.
Yeah.
Rather than play like one more difficult than normal playthrough and then like get burnt out. I think Supernova is like, this is more for balancing the normal difficulty than anything else. I'd rather that be a little bit easier than expected and then push to hard if I want like that really hard challenge.
Yeah. I mean, I'm looking forward to seeing how the different planets change my approach to this, but so far it's not been too bad. The biggest pain in the backside is the sleep thing, because like, you're just used to running around, and then it's like, oh, you're tired, and basically you get 3 ticks on each thing, where it's like, oh, when you get a little bit tired, your temperament goes down, so you lose a little bit of your inspiration, determination, whatever that thing is. You lose a little bit on that. When you get more tired, you lose speech checks, and you get more tired on top of that, you lose strength checks, all the strength stuff, and then if you hit the 4th tick, you die.
Okay.
And it's the same for like the thirst and the hunger one as well. It's like minor little ticks down until the 4th tick, in which case you're dead. But you're picking up so much food and water anyway that stuff doesn't matter. The biggest one is the sleep one, which to me is just a reminder to go and save the game.
That's true. Yeah. So far, I think my standout here is probably writing. I think everything about the game is really good. I think controls are good, shooting is fine, graphically it's fine, music seems great, voice acting is good, but man, that Obsidian writing, like when they get the time to put Obsidian into a game, they just, like, one of the first items you pick up in the game is one of those hacking items.
Yeah.
And the flavor text on it is that stealing is never the answer, it's the question, and the answer is yes.
Yep.
It's just like, all right, you're just going to put that on some flavor text for a lockpick. Like, that's, all right, that's pretty good.
I'm enjoying
steal everything in that game.
Yeah.
Yeah, I steal as much as I can. When no one's looking, like, I'm just looting everything.
Close the door and become a vacuum.
I don't even have to do that. My stealth rating is so high that they could be looking at me, and as long as I'm crouched, and sometimes even when I'm not crouched, I could just do whatever I want.
I'm not here.
Which has actually helped me in a couple fights, too, because I've had... The world I'm in now, you start getting into, like, these bug monster things. And they will just show up out of nowhere.
Like the ones from the loading screens?
Yes.
Oh, okay.
The big manticore-looking things, and mantises, those aren't great, but they're not hard. But there was a group of guys on a road, because I play long-range sniper with all my stealth. My 2 companions both have either a heavy LMG a heavy machine gun or a grenade launcher, which works out spectacularly for my build, because I will start the battle by doing a one-hit kill because I'm sneaking. So because I'm sneaking and hiding, I do extra damage. So it's a one-hit kill on just about anything, and then those 2 will just go up with suppressive fire while I'm shooting. Works out great. And I had this one fight where I started it out with those guys, and all of a sudden all these mantises just popped out of the ground. Didn't see me, went right past me, and went right to my companions. And I'm like, yep, this is working out, and it just keeps sniping.
Oh, man. I really like that you can build a working build like that. Like, you say, I want to play as a primarily stealth one, and you're min-maxing to the point where you can genuinely create a build there, not just... I crouch and I snipe and I do a little bit of extra damage. Yeah. That's cool.
They also have the companions have the perks, which are threat, which you haven't seen in this type of game in such a long time, because it was
they're generating their own threat.
MMO space. Like you can raise or decrease their own threat generation, which allows you to build yourself around what you'd prefer to do. Like there is like number one, the customization is actually kind of ridiculous. And I do like the get it up to 50 and then individually do it. Like, that's a really good way of kind of balancing that.
For anyone that's not playing, the skills initially are a little bit weird, where there's a number of categories that you spend points in, and every time you spend points in there, every sub-skill of that category goes up by 1. When you get those up to 50, then you can say, I can spend points in one specific sub-skill by itself as opposed to just the parent skill, which I think is pretty cool.
Yeah. I'm really liking what I've played so far. I'm literally just hit space for the first time, so I'm going to be exploring my ship, going in all the doors, putting the sabers on the walls that I stole from wherever I stole them from.
Stole like one of those so far. Yeah, I'm not at that point yet. I'm at the point of
sabers, posters. Like, I've got like 10 things where it's like, these are all things that you can put on your ship.
Wow, I got to search for more stuff. Yeah, I'm at the point right now where I can go make the choice about the who to give power to. So I'm interested to finish up all the side missions and then go make that choice, because I think so far in this game, it is very clearly telegraphing that there are no easy decisions, and you need to make one, and someone's not going to be happy. And I dig that. I like that they're not pulling punches.
It feels like the lesser of two evils.
Sure, like you have to make a decision that meets what you think is good.
No, you don't. I just make the decision of, okay, who's paying me more money, who's giving me more stuff, and what, you just tried double-crossing me. Well, there's a bullet to your head, and I'm taking all your stuff.
So you can live like the...
Anyway, I just wasted a bullet on you.
Yeah, you can live the freelancer life. Yeah. I do have to say, watching Fallout 76 lately, and watching... It's really funny to compare and contrast that Outer Worlds very clearly doesn't like capitalism.
Yes.
And
specifically the end point of capitalism as it was currently running its mouth.
Right. And like one of the earliest things in the game is, in Edgewater, someone killed themselves, which Spacer's Choice sees as because
of company property.
Yeah, they're vandalizing because you killed yourself. Like, that's so good. And, like, all the writing around anti-capitalism in this game is really great. And then I can open up my news stories on my RSS feeder, and Vault Boy is selling you a subscription to Fallout 76. Like, it's so funny that this game is so clearly doing what Fallout was trying to do for so long, and was successful in doing in, like, Fallout 1 and 2. And then has
Fallout 1 or 2, which was originally made by Obsidian?
Yeah, by now Obsidian employees, yeah. It's so funny to see, like, one thing becoming the thing it has criticized, and Outer Worlds very clearly being like, look at all this dumb stuff.
Yep.
Yeah.
This, like you said, the writing is so good. Just off the get-go, like, the very first person you meet who isn't a crazy doctor is, like, injured. He's dying. He's shot, and his first thing is hi, welcome to...
You've tried the best, now try the rest. Cough. Spacer's Choice. Law, that hurts.
It's like, come on. Like, really?
My favorite part about him is, like, at the very end, he gives you the gun, and he says, like, you've tried the best, now try the rest. Spacer's Choice. Yes, I got it that time.
Yeah.
Just like everyone has to give you the pitch because Spacer's Choice is watching. And it's just, and like, really, the first person you run into is the dude you smush with your ship because he placed the beacon and didn't walk away.
And then stood by it.
You landed on him.
I will also say, too, when you get to Groundbreakers, there is a vendor that I spent probably a good half hour just talking to, reading their lines.
Yeah.
And specifically, this one gives you a bunch of like new lines. It's not like I'm rereading the same thing.
Right.
So if you really liked the first guy that you actually got to talk to, you'll really enjoy this guy.
Oh, nice.
I can't wait to hear the other slogans. Like, I hope that the loading screen increases as well, so it's all the other slogans as well as you go.
Yeah. I part of what I'm enjoying about this game too is I feel like a lot of people are calling it like a Fallout game. I don't think that's very true. To me, I think it shares a lot more DNA with like Mass Effect with your companions, and a lot with something like Skyrim, because I feel like it's different than Fallout, and I think it feels like Skyrim, smaller worlds where I want to, at least at the beginning, where I want to explore all this stuff, and it's much more valuable exploring it, and the combat is much better than Skyrim's ever been. But it's one of those games that I feel I'm having fun moment to moment playing it, whether I'm exploring or shooting or lockpicking or listen to some crazy dude talk about the machine staring at him and trying to take him over. Like, it's all really, really great, but there's nothing... The hard part about talking about it on a show like this, nothing is really revolutionary. It's just, you've played a game like this before, but it's all just really well done, and it feels like someone finally gave Obsidian enough time to put out a game that isn't riddled with bugs.
We'll see, based on what Nimp's experience is.
Yeah, and that's the first I've really heard of any sort of... But I mean, like, a lot of Obsidian games is sort of be like, okay, when you start, here's about 15 bugs you're going to run into with, like, creating your character. These stats don't work. These ones work too well. You know, it's like none of that stuff seems to have come out yet, you know?
Yeah, that's true.
So...
I will... No, go ahead, man.
No, you go ahead.
I was going to say, too, I've been getting, like, a lot of different feelings for the style of this game, too. Like, I get Borderlands feelings, Fallout,
right.
You know, like you're saying, Mass Effect, Elder Scrolls.
Yeah.
And I think it does... when it runs, for me, it looks really nice. I really enjoy it. It almost has that Borderlands cel-shaded cartoony look to it in a weird way.
Yeah. It has a style to it.
Yeah, it's almost in between that cel-shaded style and the realistic style.
Yes.
But then it's got all the dumb Fallout style in it too. So, you know.
Yeah.
I mean, the thing I'm really enjoying so far is the stories they are telling without telling stories. Which it's something that they did do in the Fallout series pretty well. Like, there's if you turn on the stupid perk in Fallout 4 or 3, where you get it's like Wasteland Explorer or something, and basically it's just a bunch of references to stuff.
Yeah.
It's got so many cool little stories in there. Like, there is the waterfall that's got a pool at the bottom of it, and literally on the side next to it is a bunch of armor and a bunch of empty bottles of alcohol. And it's like, well, gee, I wonder what happened here. And then, I don't know if you guys actually explored it, but the first time you meet Pavarotti and Mr. Reed, I think it is.
I think that's his name,
The first time you meet those two, they're talking about an issue with the cannery. So I was curious, and I went and explored the cannery to see what the issue was. Turns out the issue is gross. And I made my first decision. But I made my first decision knowing I had incomplete information. Because there is something going on at one of those sites that I don't know if it is what I think it is. And if it is what I think it is, I made the wrong decision. If it's not what I think it is, I made the right decision.
Right. Yeah, I want to play a lot more Outer Worlds. I am very happy that from everything I've seen online, very much like Control for Remedy, it's like Control is a win for Remedy.
Yes.
I'm very happy to see that so far Outer Worlds seems to be a win for Obsidian. Like, two companies that just, you finally needed a win with no asterisks. And it seems like Outer Worlds is, at least from people being interested in it and people hearing about Game Pass, seeing that Outer Worlds is on there, seeing that your first month of Game Pass is for $1 and just signing up for it, just for Outer Worlds, like that makes me really happy.
And something tells me this isn't going to be a let's play it for 8 hours and stop, considering I'm 6 hours in and I've only just left the first planet.
Yeah.
I will say, though, so far, the maps don't get much bigger so far. I mean, it's not like I'm hours ahead of you guys or anything, but they seem to be about the same consistency. They're smaller and just have a bunch of stuff crammed into them, which is great, because my biggest complaint with open world games is, you have all this space, but there's nothing in it. So
yeah, the developers from Obsidian and the Quick Look EX on Giant Bomb were really honest the whole time, saying, like, we didn't have a huge budget, we didn't have a huge team, we had to scale a lot of stuff back, and they said they wanted the game to be a bit smaller and a bit shorter to encourage multiple playthroughs, so you can try different builds, try to recruit different people you might have missed, try to make different choices, as opposed to being like a 70-hour thing that you're never going to play again. You wanted it to be a shorter experience, which is great.
That's fine.
I mean, that means I will see the end of it, and then maybe I will want to play it a second time. Yeah. But yes, go play Outer Worlds. It's great. It's on Game Pass on PC and Xbox One.
Yep.
Yeah.
That's all I've been playing. Over to you, Dan. Go, go, go.
All right, so besides Outer Worlds, I was playing Bloodborne.
Yeah.
I did not get a whole lot of time with this game this week. I went down the alternate route that I had talked about last time to get past the Tower Machine Gunner.
Right.
And that turns out to be a shortcut that I cut into halfway, and it leads me right back to where I started.
Okay, so it's like Dark Souls, where you like kick down a bridge and now you don't have to walk 30 minutes around.
No. I have circumvented the part where I kicked down the bridge and it routes me back to the start. I jumped down a roof and started halfway through that shortcut, and then it routed me back to the starting point.
I see. Okay.
Obviously, I could go down here, and I saw a gate that I couldn't open on my side. So I'm assuming there's a different route that I have to take, and eventually I will be on the other side of that gate, and then that will let me get back to the lantern at the start point.
Gotcha.
No big deal. I just haven't had a whole lot of time to get back into the game yet.
Right.
So that's where I'm at with that right now. My final game that I was playing was Trails of Cold Steel 3.
Yeah.
This came out Tuesday. And I'm really liking this game.
Against all odds.
Well, and I think I like the game because they're doing a new, I guess, like, view of the story, where I'm not following the same characters from the first two games. And also the fact that they're not letting the story drag so far. I mean, granted, I'm only a couple hours into it, but I've already got a change of perspective. Reen is no longer a student, he is an instructor, which they've done some interesting things with that, where there's been a couple times where I've had to fight as Reen his students.
Oh.
And then they have flipped it where you play his students and you're fighting Reen.
That's cool.
So they've done a couple flips like that, and of course the first time it happened I was getting kind of mad because the students were just piling on Reen, and it's like, I know he's more powerful than this.
Right.
But it turns into a whole thing where, okay, you've beat him down, battle's over, cutscene happens, and it turns out, oh no, Reen was just holding his punches because you were his students, and then he just goes all out on your students in a cutscene to pretty much put them back in their place. It's like, all right, yeah, I can get with that.
Yeah.
But they've been slowly reintroducing characters from the first two games. They're basically treating this as kind of like an entry point to the game, where if you haven't played the first two, I wouldn't recommend it, but you could start with 3, and they've been slowly filling you in what's happened in 2. Not so much with 1. There's been a couple things that have popped up from 1. But they are kind of introducing you to what's happening. I've already seen 4 characters from the previous games.
Nice.
But so far it's just been Reen and then your students that you're teaching. So, really enjoying it. The story hasn't really picked up yet, but, there's about to be something going down here in a minute. So.
Yeah, you can see it coming.
Yeah. And a lot of the changes they made, the graphical changes, this isn't going to be something that's going to blow your mind.
Right.
They brought it up to PS4 graphics, but you're not seeing details in walls and fabric and characters. They just look
no
smoother.
ray tracing.
Yeah, exactly. They look smoother. They look better. So, right. And it's kind of interesting too to see, because it's only a year difference from the second game to this game. It's kind of interesting to see how they've slowly aged the original characters. Even though it's only been a year, you can already see they look a little bit more mature. They gave them completely different clothing styles to wear, which, whatever's cool, but
yeah, that's cool.
Yeah,
at least they're progressing time a little bit.
Yes. Yeah. But yeah, it's a really fun game. I'm really liking it, and I want to play more of it. But then Outer Worlds happened too, so then I'm balancing these 3 games while still not having a whole lot of time.
Yeah.
But that's all I've been playing. So what have you been playing, Boston?
I lost pretty much my entire week to Stellaris. I saw this was on... so this came out in 2016 on PC, and this just came out this year, the console edition.
Yeah,
I've always heard...
Big Papa Vinny special on Giant Bomb, where every time he played it, I was like, that looks so cool.
So that's where I've heard it, because I remember always hearing about, like, hey, Stellaris is really great, like, this is one of the... I'd always heard it referred to as a 4X game. Seems that term is sort of called grand strategy now. I just looked up earlier today. I guess the PC version is on like version 2.5. Console edition is on version 1.7. So this is kind of an older build of the game. Yeah, I knew I was in trouble when I fired it up. The very first thing I do in any game, fire it up, go to settings, poke through the whole thing.
Yeah, you gotta turn those subtitles on. You gotta make sure you are correctly inverted or not inverted.
Right, I gotta make the subtitles bigger. Outer Worlds. In this game, one of the very first options is autosave is set to semi-annually, and I was like, oh no, oh, I'm in trouble. So I haven't played any 4X games before, to my knowledge. So this is really my first one. This game is really good, and I'm now on my 4th save, my 4th empire, my 4th universe, whatever you want to call it. The very first one I did was just like let's figure out if I like this game or not. Let's figure out if I like managing spreadsheets and managing planets. Spoiler alert.
Yes, you do.
I like that a lot. And part of it is if you don't have Iron Man mode on, you don't get achievements, which is why each achievement is like 2.5% of people got this. So once I figured out I kind of like it and I sort of learned some early game mistakes, started a brand new save with just like the humans, because there's like 13 races of people. Like, here's some bugs. These things are made out of magma. These things the game just says they look hideous, and they really do. I'm picking like the Ryu of Stellaris, which is like, I just want like the base level, make friends with everyone civilization. I turn on Iron Man mode because I wanted to try and get some of the achievements as I'm playing. I made it really far. I made it to what people consider end game, and I did not realize that leaving end game events on in the settings was a mistake. So I was dealing with two end game events at the same time. One was there was like a tear in the fabric of reality that was talking to people in my empire, and like I would send someone in there to go investigate it. You have these science ships that basically research stuff around the universe. Would send someone in there, it would eat them and spit out the ship, and then like start speaking as the person it ate. And I was like 5 or 6 missions deep in that, and it started getting really weird, which was great.
Oh, wow. With nukes.
I don't know where it ended, but the tear was starting to write love poetry to scientists. Like it was getting really weird. The writing in this game is really good because it has to lean on so much of it. The game was just like, hey, something seems to be coming. Get ready. I was like, boy, that's probably not great, but I've got a pretty solid navy. It basically the aggregate score of the strength of your navy is represented in the game. Mine was like 10,000 points, which is pretty good.
No, you always think that.
Yeah, I did until
through the universe.
Yeah, they came through, and each one of their fleets was 50,000. And not only that, they came in with like 3 fleets. They infect planets, and they infect fleets they destroy. So all of my neighbors, who are all stronger than I am, suddenly, it's not 3 fleets, it's 25 in this giant wave that's pushing planet by planet. I got wrecked. And how that game ended was they were coming from the planet design was 2 spirals. They're coming up this one arm towards my civilization. They take over Earth, and then I ask my neighbor to the left-hand side. We've been fairly friendly the whole game. I ask them for help, and they say, well, I mean, sure, but you got to become a vassal for us. And it's like, fine, just help me out. That's fine.
So indentured servitude, basically.
Right, which is fine because I have found some Stone Age civilizations, brought them up to spacefaring age, and by giving them that help, they're my vassal for 10 years, and then I integrate them into my empire, I think they call it. So I was like, that's fine. I can eventually get out of that. That should be fine. By giving them my servitude, they won the game because they then controlled over 60% of the planets. It's like, all right, so I double lost. Okay, so let's delete that save. Let's try again.
Yep. In the end, you were just a tiny red splotch on a radar screen.
That's right. My second run ends really early because I'm doing much better at expanding. Is the way I want to win is I don't want to do a military victory, and not at least at the beginning. I want to try to do a Federation victory.
Okay, so you're trying to do the scientific and stuff first, and then you're going to crush them under your feet.
Well, not crush them under my feet, actually. I'm going to make friends with them and then invite them to rule the galaxy together with me as part of a federation. I'm not going to take them over.
Well, after all of that, you're going to crush them under your feet.
And then I'll take them over and crush them. Yes.
Back, right? Yeah.
100%. Yes. Mm-hmm. I am a human, after all.
The neutral zone.
I'm pushing towards sort of north, and I'm taking over some planets and terraforming them and settling them, and everything's going really well, and everybody seems to be really happy. And as I push further towards my northern neighbors, they send a message that's like, hey guys, we had an open border policy before. We're not doing that anymore. I don't like how close you're getting. I don't like you. You look weird. Stay back. I was like, well.
They know you so well?
Because I'm a jerk, I'm going to settle a planet that's right on your border, but it's not in your territory. They did not like that. They immediately declared war. As soon as I took over that planet, immediately declared war, and I was like, that's fine. I've got it's early on in the game. I have my main fleet is about 1,000 strength. I got this. Everything's fine. I'm crushing any of the pirates that are coming near me. The very first fleet they send into my airspace to take over, 75,000 strength. They just march right through. After they took over 2 planets, I'm like, okay, I'm clearly not going to win this one. So I'm on my current run. I'm probably about 10 hours into it, and things are going pretty well. All my neighbors like me. Everything's going fine.
Now you've said it.
I know.
And the lesson learned now is when you think you have a good fleet, times it by 5, and then you will have a good fleet.
Yeah, I think part of my problem is I'm having trouble defending my planets because I build up my defenses and my armies on my planets, but because I'm not playing as like a conqueror, I don't have a lot of capacity. My navy can't get very big, so it can't get very strong. And that's a problem with me and my ruling style, to be fair.
Which is why I sent you that tweet.
Right. and part of why I've been enjoying this so much is because it's not an entirely passive game, but there are stretches where it's like, all right, I'm researching a bunch of stuff. I'm surveying a bunch of planets and stars and stuff. I'm constructing a bunch of mining areas over here. All the wheels are just kind of turning by itself for a little bit. So I can kind of leave it on triple speed here for 15, 20 minutes in best case scenario, and everything's just kind of happening. And I kind of dig that. I do have to say, again, vanilla Xbox One runs really well. The only thing that runs rough is the first time you fire up the game when it's building the galaxy. That takes a while, understandably. But other than that, I don't really get too many hitches, even when I'm sort of at the furthest view you can get. So Stellaris is really great, and Paradox Games just put out a video the other day that says there's more content coming to the console version in 2020. So apparently I'm in a lot of trouble for Stellaris for a long time.
You saying that building the galaxy took some time just made me think of the old days of Elite Dangerous trying to go into the galaxy map on Xbox.
We're just chugged.
Yeah. It was a little ridiculous.
Yeah. Yeah, so I'm having a lot of fun with Stellaris, and it runs really well on console. It controls really, really well. Basically, they have split all the important information to the 4 edges of the screen, and you use your D-pad to select which edge you want to choose, and that'll give you all the additional info there. I can't recommend it enough. It's like 5 gigs, and it's on Game Pass. The Game Pass, I checked it on Game Pass for PC. That's the most recent PC version, so like 2 point whatever, and then the console version is the 1 point whatever. But I'm having a lot of fun. I think I would recommend this as a pretty good intro to 4X grand strategy games, because it seems like it's easing me in pretty easily.
Yeah,
and then stepping on my neck once it gets done with me. But that's all I've been playing this week, so let's take a break. Let's talk releases for the week of October 28th, 2019. After Party comes out PC, PS4, and Xbox One. This is Game Pass day and date. This is Night School Studios' new game, Day of Oxenfree.
There we go.
This is their second game where you try to outdrink the devil to get out of hell. That's all I know, because I'm sold on that.
I know.
Yeah. Atelier Rise of Ever Darkness and the Secret Hideout comes out PC, Switch, and PS4. The only reason I bring this up, I usually don't bring up these like niche RPGs on the show.
But now
this is well, not only do we have NIMP, but basically like every trilogy for this game, they start over. So this is the start of a new trilogy. So if you're like me and you wanted to start an Atelier game at some point, this is the time, during the content drought 2019 we have, a great time to start the 21st game in a series. You can start this. Any other year, Atelier. Any other year. Disgaea 4 Complete Plus comes out on Switch and PS4. Again, if you only wanted to play one more game for 2019 and 2020, Disgaea 4 now has more stuff in it.
Yep.
And it's on the Switch, so you can bring it with you everywhere.
Yeah.
So
it's a really good game. Check it out.
Yeah. I think you meant to say, check it out, dude.
There we go.
That's Maybe. Right. Resident Evil 5 and 6 come out on the Switch. Moving on.
Vying for Skyrim for the most platforms released on.
Yeah, exactly. Super Monkey Ball Banana Blitz HD comes out Switch, PS4, and Xbox One. Does not feature tilt controls. So if that has been a deal breaker for you before, this is just a puzzle game now.
Okay.
No tilt controls. So Super Monkey Ball is really good.
Still not the proper Super Monkey Ball, so.
Which one is that?
Super Monkey Ball.
Just the vanilla,
yes.
the OG. Yeah.
Yeah, please. I played that on my GameCube with a GameCube controller.
Yeah. You put your time in.
Yes.
Vampire comes out on the Switch.
Go buy that game.
Hopefully it runs well. If it does, the Witcher 3 runs well on Switch, and that's a recommendation. If Vampire runs well on Switch, go check that out. Go play it. Yakuza 4 comes out on PS4. This is the HD thingamahoozits. We're getting close. I think this is it coming out in the US. If not, I apologize. It's been a long week. And last but not least, coming out on Halloween, Luigi's Mansion 3 for the Switch. Hang out with Gooigi.
That sounds so gross.
I know. I wish I had more time to play this game, because I would like to play this game pretty badly. But we don't have enough time, but thankfully, Sony and Ubisoft have helped us out on those fronts. They've both delayed a whole bunch of stuff. Sony has pushed The Last of Us 2 to spring. Sony/Naughty Dog, whatever. Naughty Dog's pushing for more polish on that. The rumor is that Ghost of Tsushima got delayed, pushed it back further away from Last of Us 2 as well.
And she was never actually given a release date anyway. Correct.
That's why it's just a rumor, where it's like, oh, yeah, we're still working hard on that game. Things are going great. So, makes sense. Ubisoft delays Watch Dogs Legion, Gods and Monsters, and Rainbow Six Quarantine. All of those are delayed to the second half of 2020.
And apparently inspired by Wildlands.
Boy, did they just take a dump on Wildlands in that investor call.
Yeah.
Oh, man. Yves Guillemot came out and be like, hey, man, sorry we put out Wildlands. That was a hot mess. We are retooling that team and how we approach making that game to make it better.
How disappointed is John Bertrand in this whole ordeal?
Hey, how disappointed is Bam Bam? That's the real question. Also, Skull and Bones is planned for now a 2021 to 2022 fiscal year release.
No, it's not. So, come on, that's
never coming out.
Never coming out. We all know it. That's going to be
Beyond Good and Evil
forever for Ubisoft.
Beyond Good and Evil 2, still going well, has no release window.
Yep.
So,
dude, that's because they haven't managed to rope enough rubes into doing graphic design and stuff for the game.
That's right. Yeah, not enough people have signed up for Hit Record.
Don't say its name. Stop.
No, I need to say the name because I need to tell people, don't do spec work, get paid for your work, don't sign up for Hit Record. It's a scam.
Yes. But don't
get
say
paid
its name
for your
and
work.
Give them stuff. Just literally just stop with don't do spec work.
Yeah, don't do spec work. Get paid.
Yep.
Next news story, a small one on the surface, but I think this one is really important. Microsoft this week has confirmed that all Xbox One controllers will work with the next Xbox with Project Scarlet. I think that's really interesting because the Elite 2 is just coming out, and I would hate for people to drop nearly $200 on a controller and Microsoft be like, oh boy, the Elite 3 is really great though, and that works with Scarlet. That would really suck. And it's nice to know you got a controller you like, you got the Elite set up how you like, and pick up that Scarlet, and that thing's going to work for it.
Yep. Now I just
2 thumbs up, Microsoft.
I can unplug my hard drive and plug it into the Scarlet.
That's our next question. Yeah, we'll see how backwards compatibility goes, and see how the plugging and unplugging goes.
Yeah, good luck to you guys.
Yeah, you'll be waiting in the sidelines, going like suckers.
Yeah. I'll let you guys figure out what's wrong before I get to it.
That's right. We are ever the early adopters. All right, let's move on to questions real quick here. Maximus Prime in Discord says, so this question just hit me. What would you do if video games didn't exist? What hobby do you think would fill the void?
Reading and woodworking.
Reading for me, for sure. I'd probably be programming a lot more.
Mine would probably be fixing cars.
Yeah, dope.
I like wood. Don't even write that down, any one of yous.
I did.
Not even touching my pen. Hand check.
Joke to myself.
I just like that whole freshly cut wood, sand.
Making something.
Dust in the air. Like, I love that whole process, and the sensory experience of woodworking is great to me.
I was going to say, that's my same thing with working on vehicles, too. The 3-4 hours of being under a vehicle and swearing at it because the oil cap ripped in half, or the oil filter ripped in half, so now you're trying to figure out what you need to do.
Oh, yeah. It's the same with woodwork, dude. Like, your blade catches, and then it takes a big chunk out of this piece of wood that you're working on. It's like, well, great.
You got a 4x4 that you got to do differential oil change on. You realize, I didn't pick up the right sealant for this cap, and this is the only vehicle I have right now.
Hooray! Yeah, that's part of why I've always liked programming, is in the same way that those two are, just making something. Like it sounds a lot like woodworking, where you're taking. Programming is different because you're sort of starting from nothing, and you're creating something out of not having a foundation. Where it's like you're woodworking, you're taking this blank canvas, whatever piece of wood you have, and you're making it into something.
Well, see, we got the 3 different stages. Boston likes to start from scratch.
Right.
Moon likes to start with something, and I like to work on the thing that's already been started.
Right. There you go. We all got it covered.
Yep.
Late Elf in Discord says, when was the last time you stepped away for a break from a game and came back to something that totally surprised you? The example he gave is, I've been playing Hero Siege, hack and slash roguelike, Diablo-ish, good times, just $7, since 2014, and the evolution of this game has been nothing short of amazing. Going from bash this baddie to collecting gear to slotted equipment and over a dozen character types, pet classes, most recently a mini-map. It's an entirely different game each time I come back.
Marvel's Puzzle Quest. I tried that game out and absolutely hated it, and then 3 years later, Boston was like, yo, dude, they changed it.
And because that was me too, where it came out, and I was like, this is just a match 3. Like, whatever. And then I come back to it, and I was like, oh no, this is good. They fixed the problems. I feel like that was Nonstop Night for a while, where it's like, oh, cool, Nonstop Night just got another patch. What did they add? Oh, God. There's like twice the amount of content in this game. Okay, great. This game's even better now.
What else did I take a break from?
No Man's Sky. I feel like every time I come back there, I'm like, okay, I got to restart because everything is different. And
that's the same thing for Warframe for me. I've taken such a long break on that game that nothing that I was trying to make works anymore, and everything just looks and feels different.
Yeah, it's like, just start a new character.
Elite Dangerous. Every time I load that thing up, it feels different. Like, because I tend to play it hardcore for like 6 months and then take 6 months off. And then by the time those 6 months have passed, the new DLC's out, the new update's out, the new everything's out. It's just like, oh no, what happened? Where are all my stuff gone?
I can't think of anything else. Because either it's like Apex for me, where it's like, I love this and I'm never going to come back to it. Or something like Destiny, where I'm playing every day and I'm keeping up on it.
Yeah.
God, I wish I had more time to play Apex.
Well, you got a perfectly good Xbox right there, dude. Just click.
Oh, well, perfectly good is maybe stretching the term. It's fine.
Serviceably working Xbox there, dude. You don't have to tap it to make it read discs.
That's fair.
Just strap another fan to it. You'll be fine.
It doesn't get that hot.
That 100%, that's the PlayStation's problem.
Yeah. All right, that's our episode for this week. Thank you so much for listening. If you'd like to visit us, you can do so at tvgp.tv. Everywhere to find and follow us on the right-hand side of the page, including the merch store link. Go buy some great stuff. Put it on your body.
Yes.
Or stickers. Or put it on your kids. Whatever. Or your cats. Maybe you have a really big cat that can wear like a kid's onesie.
People putting stuff on cats.
I mean, I would like to see someone put one of our baby onesies on a cat and send us a picture. I mean, I'm seeing a cat right there that's in love with Nimp.
Yep.
She's been taking a bath the whole episode. Patreon.com/E1M1. The ones are numbers, as we talked about. There's a brand new episode of Old Dog New Flicks out for patrons. There's also one out for the public feed. Get all the behind-the-scenes early access stuff. Game Club, we're playing Dream Daddy, a dad dating simulator.
Nice daddy, by the way.
Thank you. I accidentally made Drew Scanlon, which is now a really great game. It is significantly improving an already great game. I think that's it. So we'll see you all next week.
Bye.
Before we get into titles, Moon, how do you spell Carcour? I have 3 different spellings here.
I think it's C. Basically, take parkour, Parkour, and just replace the P with a C.
So I will cross out that one, and I'll cross out that one. Okay. Nimp, what are your titles?
Carcour?
No, it's like car, C-O-R-E, thinking like maybe it's Carcour, and then I misspelled parkour. So I got it right on the 3rd try. I got there.
It's a good thing we're having this discussion, because the first one I have is Carcour.
There you go. Let's put a check next to that one.
Puzzle levels for cars. Interstellar Drift. I Knew I Was in Trouble When. Kill It With Nukes. And It Made Sweet Poems.
Okay, It Made Sweet Poems. All right. Moon, how about you?
Face Meltingly Fast. Interstellar Drift. Shooty McTechie Face. There's the Insanity. Become a Vacuum. And probably going to get vetoed, but Nice Daddy.
Yeah. I have Carcour, Interstellar Drift, and It Made Sweet Poems. Sounds like Carcour and Interstellar Drift are really our 2 front runners.
Yeah.
I don't feel strongly about either one. Carcour is kind of funny.
Yeah.
Interstellar Drift might be better in the episode.
I think Interstellar probably fits the style of our titles better.
Yeah, that's true.
Yeah, I'm fine with that.
You want to do Interstellar Drift?
Yeah, that sounds fine.
Okay. You talked me into it.
My brain just went on autopilot, and I'm just sitting there reading it.
Well, it sounds like it's a good time to wrap up this episode then.
Mm-hmm.
Interstellar Drift, huh? Okay.
Okay. Let me know when you guys are ready.
Make the worst reference ever, but you guys are just going to have to deal with it.
Okay.
I think I'm going to one-up you, but let's see.
Okay.
Well, now I'm ready. All right, starting in 3, 2, 1. This is That Video Game Podcast, episode 627 for October 28th, 2019. Interstellar Drift.
AE-86 in space.
It's like Tokyo Drift, but in space.
All done. Thank you very much, everyone, for watching us.
How can you tell we're tired?
Doing us live. We'll see you next week. Bye.
Bye.
And we can stop recording.